What's going on, everybody? This is Tony, and in this video I'm going to show you some of the back issues I bought in 2022 for my personal collection. What's going on, everybody? This is Tony. Welcome you back to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you some back issues I picked up in 2022. I hope you like it. If you're not a member of the channel yet, give us a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. You can also find us on Facebook as well. So the first comics I picked up, I'm going to show off, is the 3 slabs I got. The first one is this one, Marvel Tales number 192. Now I know what you're thinking, Tony, why did you buy a slab of Marvel Tales? Well, it's pretty simple. Besides this being a 2-in-1, so to speak, this issue collects both Amazing Spider-Man 121 and 122, which is the death of Gwen Stacy and the death of the Green Goblin. They collected in one little volume. But I was actually looking on my comic shop, and I like to look at the Marvel Tales books because I like to collect them. You know, they're reasonably pretty cheap. And I seen this slab on here for 10 bucks. And I was like, I just laughed. I was like, man, $10 for a slab? I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. Now, when I got it, I realized that right back here, it is cracked and chipped all to hell. So that's probably why it was 10 bucks. Maybe one of these days I may send it in to get it reholdered. Who knows? But this is Marvel Tales 192. And this is the cheapest slab I've ever bought. The next slab I bought was Amazing Spider-Man 313. This is part of the Todd McFarlane run. It's also an Inferno crossover, and it's got a really awesome cover, as you can see, featuring the Lizard. That's why I got it. I picked this up. I ordered it online when I was in Utah at my daughter's wedding. We were just kicking back and relaxing, and I seen it and I picked it up. And the last slab for this video that I picked up this year, it really brings back some nostalgia for me. This is Gen 13 number 1 from the limited series in 1994. I actually had the whole limited series when it first came out. For some reason, I don't know why, I decided to sell it. But I seen this one, like the ASM, for a really good price at a 9.6. I can't believe that the price I paid for this book for a 9.6. So I had to get it. It was a no-brainer. And these are the 3 slabs that I picked up, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the books. So next I'm going to show off some Raw books that I got. And the reason why I showed the slabs off first is because, as good as they are, I think some of these Raw books are just a little bit better, especially the last 2. So I got about 20 books here I'm going to show off. I'll try to be real quick about it. First up we have X-Force number 2. I got this pretty cheap at one of my LCSs. I think I paid like $5 for it. This is, I believe, the first appearance of Kane. Or I mean, maybe his name may have been Garrison Kane. I'm not sure. He was the new Weapon X at the time. And it is the second appearance of Deadpool. Next we have West Coast Avengers number 1. This is the first issue of the ongoing series. I love West Coast Avengers before WandaVision. I used to have a really big run of these, and for some reason, like before, I've sold them, and I'm just trying to get them all back. But this is probably one of the first times I've had West Coast Avengers number 1. Next we have, from Image, we have Youngblood number 1. Need I say more? I'm working on trying to collect all the first issues of Image when the company first started. I've got Spawn number 1, which was recently at CBCS. I've got Gen 13 number 1, which you saw. I have Wildcats number 1 and Youngblood number 1. I picked this up for $1 at the Batcave in Conway. And while I was there, not only did I get the first issue of Youngblood, but I also got the first issue of Pit. And this is the first time that I've ever actually owned a copy of the Pit. Usually had a buddy of mine that collected them, so I got to read them when they came out the first time. The next issue I've got is Avengers 213. This is a controversial issue. Yellow Jacket, or Hank Pym, is being brought up for court-martial because of some stuff that happened in the issue before it. And he comes up with this, he's trying to come up with this grand scheme to create this monster or some villain that only he knows how to beat, so that way it'll make him look good in the Avengers' eyes, and maybe keep him from getting court-martialed. His wife, Janet Van Dyne, also known as the Wasp, tries to make him see reason, and this is the issue where he hits her. And that has sparked a lot of controversy. These out of the way. Next up, we have Captain America number 176. Now, the details are a little fuzzy for me on this. I haven't actually read the book. I'm trying to get the rest of the issues that tie into it. But I believe this may be the first time that Steve Rogers resigned as being Captain America. I think he became disillusioned. And a few issues after this, I believe, is when he became Nomad. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they got a guy named Roscoe Simmons to become the new Captain America. And a few missions into his run as Captain America, he was killed by the Red Skull. And Steve Rogers came back and became Cap again. Next up, I've got Silver Surfer number 1. I believe this is the 3rd volume. And I just picked this up just because it's the Silver Surfer. I don't have a lot of his books, but I do have quite a few in this run, or this volume, because they mainly had to do with the Infinity Gauntlet. But I seen this for $5 at the Batcave in Conway, and I was like, you gotta get it. Next up, I got this one for $1. Daredevil number 182. Of course, this is the issue after the death of Elektra, and I really enjoyed it. And if you're going to get that one, I got the next one for $1 as well, and this is Daredevil 183. And of course, this is the first time Daredevil fought the Punisher. Both excellent books. Okay, next one I got is X-Men number 143. This is a special Christmas issue of the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. I believe it's the first appearance of Lee Forrester, and I was into like a little Christmas vibe with my comics, trying to pick up some Christmas issues during December. I seen this one, I went ahead and picked it up. And while I picked that one up, I got this one as well. This is Uncanny X-Men issue 171, featuring Rogue becoming a member of the X-Men. Next up, we have Spider-Man 2099 number 1, the newsstand. I already had a copy of this, but I bought some books in bulk from a buddy of mine named Greg, and he was letting me pick through a box. I seen this in there, had to get it. No question about it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll send it in to get it graded. I haven't really decided on that yet. Alright, the next book, Batman 489. This was a prelude to the Nightfall storyline. This was the first appearance of John Paul Valley, or Azrael, in the Batman suit. If I remember correctly, he had something, I think Batman is at the point of exhaustion or something, and they have Azrael go out and fill in as Batman. This book also is the second appearance of Bane. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Bane breaks Killer Croc's arm in this one. I had a second print copy. I picked this one up because it was a first print. That's about the only reason why I picked it up. And I also picked this one up at the Batcave as well. Next up, I got this one from my comic shop. This is the comic book adaptation of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Need I say more? Batman Mask of the Phantasm is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, DC animated film. I got to go see it in the theaters like 3 times during the Christmas holidays when the year it came out. And it's just I've always loved the Phantasm character. And I have, actually, well, you can't see it, but over here I have the VHS copy as well. Just a little bitty digest version that came with the VHS. But yeah, I just really love this comic, and I'm glad to finally have it back in the collection. Next up, we have Ghost Rider number 81. This is the final issue of the Johnny Blaze volume. In this issue, he finally gets rid of the spirit Zarathos, and I believe Mephisto locks Zarathos inside of a crystal or something, and he's free to continue his life as a normal person. And my cousin had this a long time ago, and I seen it for like $4, so I had to pick it up. So the next three are, out of all the books I got, are probably the three of the books that I thought were the coolest ones for me to get this year, or 2022. And first off, we've got Iron Man number 282. This is the first appearance of James Rhodes, or Rhodey, in the War Machine armor. Now, a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to the comics, the War Machine armor first appeared in Iron Man 281. Tony was wearing it. But it wasn't referred to as the War Machine armor. It was just another Iron Man suit. And this one, it may or may not have been called the War Machine armor, but it was still considered Iron Man tech. And James wears it. It's not until West Coast Avengers number 94 that he actually starts calling himself War Machine. But still, nevertheless, I actually didn't think I'd be able to get a copy of this, but I found somebody in July. They were doing a little expo at B&B Collections in Jonesboro, and he had this copy, and I got it for a pretty good price. And I really enjoyed having it. Okay, the last two books, or the first of the last two books. Honestly, I never thought I'd ever really have this one in the collection. It took me a long time to get it, and I'm glad I finally did. This is Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 2, number 36. And anybody that collects comics knows that this is the World Trade Center issue. Basically, whatever storylines they were running when 9/11 hit, they went on pause and they released this issue. And it's a really great standalone issue as Spider-Man and the rest of the heroes are dealing with the fallout of the World Trade Center collapse. And it's really good read. And I'm really glad to actually have a copy of it in my collection. Now, the last book that I want to showcase that I bought in 2022 is another really cool book that I was beginning to wonder if I was going to actually get it, because it is definitely starting to get a little pricey. And that is Amazing Spider-Man number 299. This issue is the first cameo appearance of Venom. It is the second book that Todd McFarlane did during his run. And when I picked up this book, I solidified my run of Amazing Spider-Man from 246 all the way to 429. This was the last piece of the puzzle, and it was not cheap. But it was, I held off as long as I could, and I finally found one as about as low as the price as I was going to get it. And if you've looked up this book, you know it's not cheap, but I'm really stoked to have it in the collection as well. And there you have it. Those are just some of the books I picked up in 2022. I'm really glad to add all these books to my PC. And if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like and a subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell for future content. I want to thank you for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you next time. And keep on reading.